Struggling on poems on the SAT? Let me show you the ultimate cheat. So when you're dealing with poems, you really have to pay attention to a couple different things. Number one, you should always deal with the titles. Number two, you should always pay attention to repetitions. And number three, you should always pay attention to descriptions. In this case, the repetition is really going to matter. Let me show you. The following text is from Ezra Pound's 1909 poem, Hymn the Third, based on the work of Marcantonio Flaminio. As a fragile and lovely flower unfolds, immediately I see the words fragile and lovely flower. Okay. It's gleaming foliage on the breast of the fostering earth. If the dew and the rain draw it forth. Okay. Whatever that means, I don't know. I'm not going to pay attention to stuff I don't understand. Let's keep going. So doth my tender, fragile. That's a repetition. Now I'm already seeing a pattern here. What is the general concept? That the flower is fragile or tender, right? It's the same word repeated. Mind flourish. If it be fed with the sweet dew of the fostering spirit, growth. So fed, growth, tender, fragile, all about growing, expanding, life. Lacking this, it beginneth straightway to languish. This is death, right? Lacking what? Sustenance, food, fostering, whatever. Even as a floweret born upon dry earth, if the dew and the rain tend it not. Tend, in other words, if you don't tend to the flower, it will die. So we're looking for an answer choice that's following that repetition, that same kind of concept. I don't care about the language that I don't know. I care about the language that I do and the repetitions inherent within the actual passage. Based on the text, in what way is the human mind like a flower? Wow, human mind? Okay, that's a little random, but let's go into the repetitions and trust the process. A, it becomes increasingly vigorous with the passage of time. Vigorous means lively, but that's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about growth, development. We're talking about how that's fragile. I don't know if A is the right answer. I highly doubt it. B, it draws strength from the changes in the weather. Okay, we're not talking about changes in the weather. There was one mention of the weather. That's not really the part of the repetition or the description or the title for that matter. C, it requires proper nourishment. Oh, that's great, right? In order to thrive. That's exactly what it's talking about the entire time. It's literally dependent on every single word I picked in here. I love C. D, it perseveres despite its challenging circumstances. There are no challenging circumstances. That was never mentioned. I go back to A just to check. Increasingly vigorous with the passage of time, but it doesn't talk about time. It's never mentioned once. I'm going to stick with the repetition because that's what the answer always is, and it's always dependent on repetitions, the title, and specifically the descriptions. C works perfectly for all three.